Two, one, there we go. Okay, so the Biosphere project, hopefully you've all had a chance to watch the videos that were put out there about what it is you're wanting to do. We are actually more or less making a enclosed ecosystem than a true biosphere. I don't expect you to have 10 or 15 different kind of ecosystems in there. Um, but what I want is for you to have a complete self-contained ecosystem. You do not have to put any kind of animals, insects in there like that. I mean, I'd like you to, but at the same time, I don't want you to unnecessarily kill something. Um, but a lot of people, they're making them in bottles, they're making them in Coke bottles, they're making them in jars that they're getting. And you don't poke holes in the jars. You don't poke holes in the lids. You don't poke holes in the plastic bottle. This should be, when you're done, sealed tight, airtight. And what is going to happen is you should have plants in there. Now, you don't necessarily have to go out and buy anything. You can go outside, dig up some grass and some dirt. Yes, Clara?
Okay, quick question.
Okay.
Before we put water in there, can we put like a sponge in there for like water?
Now, you could, but let's look at it this way. Why would you want a sponge in there?
Because I feel like my water, I don't know, I just feel like I should also put it nothing else in order to hold the water.
Well, your soil is going to hold the water.
Oh yeah, okay.
Do you, I mean, because you don't find, well, you do find sponges in nature. But what we want is we want a system that's going to end up, you put water in the soil. If you're not doing an aquatic biome, that's a whole different thing. Aquatic biome is a little bit different. You're going to put water in there in the soil. The soil is going to get nice and damp. You're going to put some plants in there. And what happens is when the sun hits your jar, your container, it will start to heat up and water starts to evaporate. Now remember, this is a sealed container, so the water doesn't have anywhere to go except for onto the container itself as condensation. And that's basically a cloud. So as the condensation starts to build up, little droplets are going to fall back down. So you're going to actually develop a water cycle in there. So the water will evaporate. The plants are also giving off water because the plants absorb water through their roots. They do photosynthesis, but they also do cellular respiration. And when they do cellular respiration, the water is given out in water vapor, so that helps condense on there. So just keep cycling it. Now, if you do put any kind of insects in there, which, like I said, I think it's pretty neat. Most of the kids in the school, they are putting something in there. Make sure you have something in there for them to eat. Because, yes, they have water as part of the water cycle, but they need food. Now, if the only thing you put in there to eat is the plant that is also in there, the problem is they're going to eat the plant and then photosynthesis will stop and the oxygen cycle won't continue. So you must put multiple things in there. Little bugs do not eat a lot of stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. Just make sure you have a good balance. Once you seal it, and Manvitha, I'll come right back to you. Hold on one second. Once you seal it, I don't want you to open it again. All right. You can't go, ooh, I think I need a little bit more water, so I'm going to pour some water in there. That's not what we want to do. We want to see if it can be self sustaining. So I don't want you to come back and add anything to it. Manvitha, you had a question. Can't hear you. You show that you're off mute, but I can't hear what you're saying. Go ahead and type it in, young lady. While we're waiting for Manvitha, Avinash, uh, they don't eat dirt. They eat the decaying organic material in dirt, which in a way is part of the dirt anyway. So yeah, they're not eating rock. They're eating the biomass that's in the rock. I think you're possessed. Your computer is possessed, Manvitha. So what is it you wanted to ask?
Um,
Oh, I hear you now.
okay, I clicked on the internal microphone thing on the bottom right corner. It's not on me, it's mirror, but that's irrelevant. Can we have multiple life forms in that? And for example, can we put like an egg in there and then watch it hatch and grow and stuff?
Are you talking a
Like not
chicken
an
egg?
egg, but some sort of insect egg?
Oh yeah, definitely. You can do that.
Okay.
I have no problem with that.
Because I don't think I can catch an insect or something small enough in the jar.
That's fine. And like I said, you don't have to have any insects or cellupods or anything like that. You do have to have plants. You do have to have living plants in there. Um, I think it's just kind of nice also to add some insects in there. I mean, it just kind of helps out a little bit, in my own opinion. But that part is not something you definitely have to have. Let me see. Avinash, I searched it. Yeah, the decaying stuff, that's the biomass. Um, but then you need something to warm it. Okay, so yeah, as far as you want to keep your temperature temperate, meaning right now with the extremely cold nights, but then we have warm days, you can set it like out on your porch, but it needs to be translucent. You need to be able to see into the container because this is going to allow sunlight to come in. Now, the thing is, it's going to create its own little, it's going to trap heat inside of it. So that should not really be a problem as far as keeping it warm. You do want to make sure it keeps, uh, it's able to get sunlight. So, I mean, I don't want you to put it like in a dark corner of your room or something like that. You can put it up on the windowsill, you can put it back on the porch. Your parents probably don't want it in the kitchen or in the living room, but just make sure it's somewhere that it does get light in it. Merrick, you have a question, sir? Okay, he went. All right, I hear you now.
Okay, so I just got kicked off the meet and my internet died, so I just wanted to say that I'm still here.
Okay, I got you. You're good. Yes, Aubrey, you can definitely use moss. Avinash, as far as the egg goes, that's like a chicken egg, but she's not talking about chicken eggs. She's talking about like insect eggs, which probably do not have to be at about 100 degrees. Most insects don't incubate their eggs. All right, so again, there is a lot of different research. I don't necessarily want you guys to go out and spend money on this, but what I'd like you to be doing is as you are constructing it, if you've already constructed it, it's fine, but take pictures of it. Make like a running journal of it. And then once it is up and running, what I'm going to do is probably starting on, let's see, this Friday is a B day. So starting on Monday, I'm going to ask randomly, I'm going to ask each one of you to, show me something that you got going on. Talk to me a little bit about your biosphere. And then when we're done, you're going to turn in like a little journal on, how you created it, what you're doing with it, how it's surviving. And we'll talk about lessons learned. How can you find insect eggs? Yes, it'd be really small, but if you know what you're looking for, you can find them.
What if it dies while it's in the biosphere?
Well, then it dies. I mean, you're not going to fail because your biosphere failed. Are you all biologists? No. So this is a learning experiment. we're trying to see if you could create a self-sustaining environment. Okay, so believe me, this is more about you experimenting and you learning than it is about, oh, you have to succeed or else. It's not about that. I'm not gonna judge you on whether or not this fails or not. Now, here's the thing, though. If I say, oh, this is my biosphere right here, it's not even sealed, and I put a little dirt in there, and like a couple blades of grass. Okay, now that wasn't even an effort put forward. I mean, it really doesn't take much to do this. Okay, you're talking about 20, 30 minutes to make one, actually, besides rounding everything up. Manvitha?
Sorry. Uh, for the biosphere, um, I know it says that it's due on October 12th, and is that also? I'm sorry, I forgot my question. I don't remember. Oh, never mind. I remember. I'm so sorry. If we uh, if we wanted to like get some insects, could we like put honey inside the jar first, and then see if we can get some ants with it, and then something like that, like something to lure the bugs in, and then we can make the biosphere.
You could. And the October 12th date, that's what we would call a soft date. That's really just a date that we're going to be checking on everybody, see how everybody's doing. I definitely want your biosphere up and running, completely enclosed, um, hopefully by next week. But we're only really going to check this out for about 2 weeks. So, yeah, I'd like you to keep them running longer than that. See if you can keep it running for a while. But yeah, the 12th date is just the date that we're going to really check on everybody. I'm going to get everybody's report, and we're going to talk more about the report as it goes. Like right now, just start journaling down what you're doing. Um, so yeah, don't worry if you're not quite ready to go until next week. It's all good. Merrick,
Okay, so here's what I recommend. Like you can do this without putting any money in whatsoever. By just like if you have a jar at your house, like a pickle jar, you just need to clean it out really good, and then and so you don't need to catch bugs or beetles. I definitely wouldn't recommend or ants or anything that will actually eat your plants. What I recommend is you go to Dirt Wolf Park, and there's a bunch of like dirt where and moss and stuff where everything's like rotting, like the rotting wood. When you turn that over, there's these like worms and grubs and things called spring hills that actually decompose stuff in the dirt. So it adds a natural decomposition process to your biosphere and it counts as a bug.
yeah. Now the kids that are here in the school, we've all gone up to Wolf Park, and we've got plants from there. Some people have got all muddy. They've gone in the ponds and they made aquatic biomes. Um, aquatic biome is just a water habitat. I've had people bring in water snails, and some people have brought in fish. Put plants and moss and algae in there. So there are a lot of people doing different things, and what Merrick said is very true. My intention of this, in this project in general, should not cost you money. You know, the most it would cost anybody is the container. But if your parents use jars, it could be in a jar. I have people making biomes in something this big, and I have people making something this big. I have people using aquariums and they've sealed the tops of them. Find stuff at your house. But then, I also have had students go out and spend, $20 or $30 on there. It's not about spending money. I don't want you running up to your mom or dad and say, Mr. Schillinger says I have to go to, PetSmart and buy all this stuff. You don't have to buy anything. Even if you just go out in the yard or, go somewhere where you can dig up some plants and dirt, there you go. You got it all available for you. But it does take a little bit of research. You do have to look a little bit into what it is you're wanting, what kind of materials you're going to use. You got to find out what they need and stuff like that. Manvitha.
Could you like have some plants already there and like plant a little seed in the middle of the soil and have some like water? And then your pictures could be of the seed growing.
You can do that. Yep.
Because I don't think I can. Like I said, I don't think I can catch any bugs in our backyard.
Okay.
All we have back there is snakes and turtles, so
Ooh, snakes.
we've seen about 4 so far. Copperheads.
Oh, okay. Copperheads aren't fun to play with. Merrick.
Man, Lisa, I recommend going to Wolf Park and to like a really like kind of wet part with like rotten wood and stuff, and then just collecting some of that dirt because that dirt is literally alive with breaking down materials and stuff. So that's all you need to do to get your bugs, and you can tell there's bugs in there if you see like little trails in the condensation and like some stuff is breaking gas for some reason. I captured a bug. This is a grub in here. I call him Grubby. He has plenty of food to eat, but I have not seen him since I put him in there. So I don't know. But
We have a garden in our backyard that we use soil in, so I thought I could just take some of that soil and put it in the jar.
yeah. But one thing to be wary of is that stuff could contain unwanted materials too. So if you like want to completely sanitize and kill everything in the dirt, just put it in the oven for on 350 for 15 minutes.
I don't think we're gonna be like that.
Okay.
My dad and did it secretly.
So, does anybody else right now have any questions about the biosphere? Right. As you are working on creating your biosphere, make sure if you have any questions, email me. Because again, we're not going to see each other again until um, Monday. I did get a little backed up on some of the emails, so if I haven't updated anything in your grade book right now, I'm sorry. I kind of got inundated, but hopefully I'm going to be caught up here between today and tomorrow. We do have one assignment today, and it's not going to be very difficult. It's actually going to be something you're going to watch. This is called History of Earth. Now, the video itself is an hour and 31 minutes long. You do not need to watch the whole video. Okay. Um, what this is the theory, and I hopefully we all know what a theory is. Theory is not proof. It is scientists' best guess based on evidence of how the Earth was created. All right. And what they're going to do is they're going to go back about 5 billion years when they say the planet was created. And they're going to talk to you about how they believe the planet came to be and how events started to shape the planet to what it is today. All right. Now, if you want, watch the whole video. After about 1 hour, it starts to get into the formation of life, how life was created. Um, I'm not here trying to change any personal beliefs or anything like that. This is a science class, and this is just a scientific theory. It's an interesting video, but like I said, I'm more concerned that you watch about the Earth processes that are going on, because that's where we're going to start really getting into on Monday. We're going to start talking more about plate tectonics and how our planet's moving and shaping, and what causes a lot of this stuff to happen. So in Google Classroom, I just uploaded the video. It tells you in there, it's about an hour, but when they start talking about a creature coming out of the water, it kind of looks like a crocodile. It's not a crocodile yet, but I mean, it looks like it. It's walking on fins and it has a long tail like a crocodile. At that point, that's when you can go ahead and pause the videos. All right. But do watch that. We are going to be coming back and talking about that. Let me see here, man. Vitha just said she's on the yearbook staff. Yeah, if we can take pictures of stuff that you're doing, like when you're working on the biosphere, It's one of the reasons why I want you to take pictures of the biosphere. I don't know about me being able to take show pictures of our class settings unless everybody has a release a photo signed with the school. But also, you guys get, yeah, you do. Look at the FJHS announcements because they're also talking about setting up times for yearbook pictures for virtual students. I'm not sure exactly how that'll work, um, but you are part of the school, and we do want to include you in the yearbooks. So because hopefully one day all this is over, and whether you like it or not, you come back to school. So I know there's advantages to staying at home, and there's advantages to being at school. Um, but with that, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and watch that video. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you soon. If you got any questions, shoot me an email.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Just to
Bye,
clarify,
Michelle.
we watched the video until the weird crocodile looking part, right?
Right. I mean, you can watch the whole video. Okay. I mean, that's not a problem. But I want you at least watch. It's about 1 hour. It's roughly the hour mark.